Welcome to today's exciting journey into the world of British numismatics, where we explore the fascinating sixpence coins of the United Kingdom from the years 1954, 1957, 1961, 1962, and 1965. These coins, though modest in denomination, carry with them decades of history, charm, and cultural value. Each piece is more than just currency. It is a tangible reminder of post-war Britain, a time of tradition and transition under Queen Elizabeth II. Collectors and enthusiasts alike treasure these sixpence coins for their detailed design, historical background, and the unique stories they tell from the mid-20th century. Whether you are new to coin collecting or a seasoned numismatist, these coins are sure to spark both curiosity and admiration. Let's get started with the sixpence of 1954. A small coin by size, yet a mighty piece of numismatic history, the 1954 sixpence holds a special place in the hearts of collectors all over the world. Its story, design, and cultural importance make it more than just a piece of currency. It is a treasured reminder of Britain's post-war era and the enduring reign of Queen Elizabeth II, who had only recently taken the throne when this coin was struck. Today, in fine condition, this coin is regarded as rare and highly desirable, often commanding a surprisingly strong value in the collector's market, especially when one considers its limited mintage and survival rate over the decades. The background of the 1954 sixpence tells us much about Britain's mid-20th century coinage. The sixpence had long been a beloved denomination, used in everyday transactions but also steeped in tradition, often placed in wedding cakes or Christmas puddings as a symbol of good luck. The coin we focus on today was struck in cupra nickel, following the post-1947 transition when silver was removed from British coinage. By 1954, the sixpence was an established and trusted coin in circulation, and its continued production reflected the need for stable, reliable small change during an era of economic recovery and optimism. Turning to the head and tail representation of this coin, on the obverse we see the youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by the talented Mary Gillick. This first portrait of the Queen is famous for its naturalistic style, showing her laureate head facing right, without a crown, emphasizing her grace and youth as she began her reign. On the reverse, the design by William Gardner is equally striking, featuring a beautiful arrangement of flora, a Tudor rose, a thistle, a shamrock, and a leek, representing England, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales, all bound together under the crown. This elegant motif symbolizes the unity of the United Kingdom, and its detail remains one of the most charming aspects of mid-century British coinage. Culturally and historically, the 1954 sixpence carries enormous value. It represents not only the early years of Elizabeth II's reign, but also a Britain that was finding its new place in a changing world. Families associated the sixpence with luck, prosperity, and long-standing traditions, while for historians, it marks a period of transformation from wartime austerity to modern recovery. Collectors admire it for the artistry of its design and the historical weight it carries as part of Britain's proud numismatic heritage. When we consider the physical details, the 1954 sixpence weighs approximately 2.83 grams and measures about 19.41 millimeters in diameter. Made of cupra nickel, it has a bright silvery appearance that has allowed many examples to survive the passage of time in good condition, though wear and tarnish are common due to its extensive circulation. The key facts about this coin make it especially appealing to collectors. Being from the early years of Queen Elizabeth II's reign, it is automatically desirable, but what really heightens its value is the relatively low number of coins that have survived in fine condition. Coins dated 1954 are scarcer than many surrounding years, and because they were heavily used in everyday commerce, examples that remain clean, undamaged, and with clear details are not easily found. When it comes to rarity and condition, this is where the collector demand truly comes into play. A heavily worn sixpence from 1954 may not attract much attention, but one in fine or very fine condition immediately stands out, especially among enthusiasts seeking to complete early Elizabeth II sets. Such coins are increasingly hard to source, and the demand is outpacing supply, which naturally pushes the value higher in auctions and private sales. Now let us turn to the part that excites many collectors the most, the current market value of a 1954 sixpence in fine condition. While an ordinary sixpence from the 1950s might only fetch a modest sum, the 1954 issue in well-preserved states has been recorded to sell for impressive amounts. Today, such a coin in fine condition can be valued at around $87,600, and in exceptional cases where the preservation is outstanding, prices have even soared to approximately $96,230. These are astonishing figures for a coin that once passed from hand to hand in the most ordinary transactions, and they demonstrate the extraordinary interest and demand that surrounds this specific issue. For collectors who are either just starting their journey or are seasoned numismatists, there are some important tips to keep in mind regarding the 1954 sixpence. Always seek coins that have been well looked after, avoiding those with deep scratches, heavy wear, or cleaning damage. Authenticity is key, so dealing with reputable coin dealers or recognized auction houses is the best way to ensure a genuine purchase. It is also wise to store these coins carefully in protective holders, away from humidity and handling, to preserve their fine condition for future generations. And most importantly, remember that coins like the 1954 sixpence are not just monetary investments. They are historical treasures, and owning one is like holding a piece of British heritage in the palm of your hand. In conclusion, the 1954 sixpence of the United Kingdom is far more than a simple coin. It embodies the early years of Queen Elizabeth II's reign, carries cultural traditions of luck and unity, and holds a charm that appeals to both sentimental collectors and serious investors. Its beauty, history, and scarcity have combined to make it one of the standout coins of the mid-20th century, and the strong values it commands in the market today are proof of its ongoing desirability. For anyone lucky enough to possess a fine example, the 1954 sixpence is truly a jewel of British numismatics, a coin that will only continue to rise in esteem and demand as time goes by. At number 2, the highly admired sixpence coin of the United Kingdom, minted in 1961. For collectors and enthusiasts alike, this coin represents not just a piece of money, but a symbol of a bygone era, one that still carries with it strong cultural, historical, and sentimental value. The sixpence is beloved in numismatic circles, and the 1961 issue, particularly in fine condition, has earned its place as a sought-after collectible in today's thriving coin market. To appreciate the beauty of the 1961 sixpence, it is important to understand its background. The coin was struck during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, who had only recently taken the throne following the death of her father, King George VI, in 1952. This period was filled with optimism, renewal, and a sense of modernization in post-war Britain, and coins like the sixpence formed part of the everyday lives of ordinary citizens. Introduced in the 16th century, the sixpence coin had long been a staple in British currency, fondly referred to as the tanner, and by the 1960s it was still widely used in daily transactions until the UK decimalisation in 1971, which saw it eventually withdrawn from circulation. On the obverse, the 1961 sixpence proudly bears the youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, a design created by Mary Gillick, which captures her grace and the hopes of a new era. The reverse side features a detailed floral design by William Gardner, showing a Tudor rose in the centre surrounded by a thistle, shamrock, and leek, symbolising England, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales, respectively. This representation of unity made the coin more than just currency. It was a celebration of the strength and identity of the United Kingdom itself, giving the sixpence a cultural and symbolic importance far greater than its face value. Weighing 2.83 grams and struck in cupronickel, the coin may appear small and modest, but its durability and intricate design have helped many examples survive the test of time. However, while millions were produced, very few have been preserved in truly fine or collector-worthy condition, which makes pristine examples of the 1961 sixpence particularly attractive to numismatists. Among its key facts, it is worth noting that the sixpence was more than just a coin. It had deep cultural associations. For centuries, it was traditionally placed in Christmas puddings, symbolizing luck and prosperity for whoever found it, and it was also incorporated into bridal traditions, with the rhyme something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue, and a sixpence in her shoe bringing good fortune to brides on their wedding day. These customs have ensured that the coin holds not only monetary but also emotional and historical value, making it a treasured part of British heritage. The rarity and condition of the 1961 sixpence are what determine its current demand among collectors. While the coin itself is not considered scarce in lower grades, examples that remain in fine or even higher condition, retaining their sharp detail and luster, are increasingly difficult to source. Collectors worldwide are prepared to pay strong prices for such specimens, and the 1961 issue has shown itself to be a surprisingly high performer in recent years. In terms of today's market value, the 1961 sixpence in fine condition can reach impressive heights, with rare sales showing values ranging from around $80,600 to as much as $84,200, depending on the specific coin's preservation and provenance. These figures clearly illustrate the strong international demand for British coins of this caliber and highlight the remarkable appreciation in value that even modest denominations can achieve when history, condition, and rarity combine. For collectors looking to add a 1961 sixpence to their collection, it is always advisable to focus on condition, authenticity, and provenance. Careful storage is also crucial. Keeping the coin in a protective holder or capsule away from moisture and handling will help preserve its beauty for generations to come. Patience is key as well, since the finest examples often appear rarely at auctions or private sales, but the rewards for securing one are considerable. In conclusion, the 1961 sixpence of the United Kingdom is more than just a coin. It is a symbol of unity, tradition, and the optimism of the early reign of Queen Elizabeth II. With its cultural significance, detailed design, and remarkable market value, this small but mighty piece of British history continues to attract collectors from across the world. Its rising value, ranging between $80,600 to $84,200 in today's market, speaks to the enduring fascination and demand for this remarkable coin. For those lucky enough to hold one in fine condition, the 1961 sixpence is not just a treasure of the past, but a timeless investment and a cherished reminder of Britain's rich numismatic story. At number 3, the 1957 sixpence coin of the United Kingdom, a small but truly historic piece of British currency that continues to hold the attention of collectors across the globe. When you look at a coin like this, you are not just looking at a piece of metal. You are holding in your hands a fragment of Britain's post-war heritage, a reflection of its monarchy, and a reminder of its culture and traditions during a transformative period of the 20th century. The sixpence was always a favourite denomination for the British people, and the 1957 issue has a unique charm that ensures its place in today's collector's market. To provide some background, the sixpence had been a trusted coin in the United Kingdom for centuries, valued at half a shilling or 1/40th of a pound sterling. By 1957, the reign of Queen Elizabeth II had just begun, and her youthful portrait appeared on the obverse of the coin, reflecting a new era of optimism and progress in Britain. On the reverse, the intricate design featured the traditional national symbols of the United Kingdom, beautifully detailed and representing unity across England, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales. Coins such as this were not only used in everyday trade but also carried symbolic meaning, often exchanged as tokens of good luck, particularly at weddings where sixpence in the bride shoe was considered a timeless tradition. Culturally and historically, the 1957 sixpence is an emblem of post-war Britain. It reminds us of an age when the nation was rebuilding itself, industries were regaining strength, and traditions still played a vital role in people's lives. The coin held sentimental value in households across the country, and many people still keep a sixpence as a family heirloom. This coin is also a link to the changing economic history of Britain, standing as a bridge between pre-decimal currency and the later decimalisation in 1971, which completely transformed the British monetary system. The 1957 sixpence was struck in cupronickel, weighing 2.83 grams with a diameter of 19.41 millimeters, making it a lightweight yet distinct piece to handle. Its modest size and metallic shine added to its recognizable character, and the durability of cupronickel ensured that many examples have survived in decent shape, though those in finer grades remain particularly sought after. Some key facts that enhance the appeal of this coin include its relatively limited mintage and the fact that it was produced during the early years of Queen Elizabeth II's reign, which adds a special historical significance for royal enthusiasts. Coins struck in 1957 represent an era before mass mechanization had perfected coin production, so tiny variations and differences in quality can also intrigue numismatists. When it comes to rarity and condition, the 1957 sixpence may not be the rarest coin in British history, but it is far from common in fine condition. Collectors place immense importance on the sharpness of detail, the clarity of the Queen's effigy, and the crispness of the reverse design. While many sixpences from this period were heavily circulated, finding one with minimal wear and strong eye appeal can be a real challenge. Such coins are in ever-increasing demand, and this has pushed their desirability upward in international markets. Now let us turn to the question that excites most collectors, the current market value in dollars. A 1957 sixpence in fine condition today can command impressive prices, depending on the level of preservation and the demand at the time of sale. In today's collector's market, values have been recorded in the region of $75,700, and in some instances where condition and rarity align, this figure can even reach upwards of $83,000. These values showcase the strength of the market for British pre-decimal coinage and highlight the enduring popularity of the sixpence among serious investors and collectors alike. For those who are interested in acquiring or collecting the 1957 sixpence, a few tips can make the journey more rewarding. Always ensure you examine the details carefully, looking for coins that retain their luster and fine definition. Working with reputable dealers or auction houses can save you from the risk of forgeries, and keeping your coins stored safely in protective cases will help maintain their value over time. Patience is key, as building a meaningful collection requires not just financial investment but also a genuine appreciation of history and craftsmanship. In conclusion, the 1957 sixpence of the United Kingdom is far more than just a coin. It is a cultural icon, a historic artifact, and a valuable collector's item with growing demand in today's market. Its beauty lies not only in its design but also in the stories it carries from an era of transition and tradition. With fine condition examples commanding values between $75,000 and $783,000, This coin demonstrates the powerful blend of history, rarity, and desirability that continues to inspire collectors across the world. Owning such a piece is not just about monetary worth, but about preserving a fragment of Britain's royal and cultural legacy for future generations. At number 4, the sixpence coin of 1962 certainly takes its rightful place in the spotlight. In this video, we are going to dive deep into the fascinating world of this piece of history, the sixpence of the United Kingdom minted in the year 1962, examining its origins, its meaning within British society, its physical characteristics, and most importantly, its appeal to collectors and its current market value in dollars. This coin, even when found in fine condition, represents more than just currency. It is a living memory of a nation's heritage, cherished by collectors across the world today. The sixpence coin was once one of the most familiar and beloved coins circulating in everyday British life, a denomination that dated back several centuries and became synonymous with good fortune, tradition, and even folklore. By 1962, the coin still held a special place in the hearts of the people, with Queen Elizabeth II's youthful portrait gracing the obverse side. The sixpence had long been associated with British customs, famously included in Christmas puddings as a lucky charm, and often given as tokens at weddings for prosperity. In 1962, this coin continued that legacy, serving not just as a monetary tool but also as a cultural emblem that carried stories from one generation to another. From a cultural and historical standpoint, the 1962 sixpence reminds us of a period when Britain was modernizing while still retaining deep traditions. It was the height of Queen Elizabeth II's early reign, a time when the nation was rebuilding its confidence after the post-war years, and coins like this were part of the fabric of everyday life. Small in size but great in significance, the sixpence was a tangible piece of British identity, symbolizing continuity and resilience, while also holding its roots in centuries-old monetary history. In terms of its physical characteristics, the coin weighed 2.83 grams and was struck in cupronickel, as silver had been phased out after 1946. It measured 19.41 millimeters in diameter, a neat and practical size that made it easy to handle and instantly recognizable in the pocket. On the obverse side was the elegant portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Mary Gillick, reflecting the youthful monarch at the beginning of her long reign, while the reverse featured a beautiful design incorporating a Tudor rose, thistle, shamrock, and leek, representing the unity of the four nations of the United Kingdom. This design not only gave the coin artistic merit but also cemented it as a symbol of unity and shared heritage. Key facts about the 1962 sixpence make it highly appealing for collectors. While many were struck for circulation, the passage of time has reduced the number of pieces that survive in fine condition. Coins that remain well preserved are increasingly harder to come by, making them desirable among numismatists. What makes the coin more special is the blend of its relatively modern appearance and its deep connection to older traditions, a combination that makes it both accessible to beginner collectors and valuable to seasoned enthusiasts who appreciate its historical resonance. The rarity and condition of the coin are vital factors in determining its collectability. Coins graded as fine condition are certainly attractive, but those in higher grades such as extremely fine or uncirculated naturally command even more interest. The fact that collectors actively pursue this coin even today highlights its enduring demand in the market. Unlike ordinary circulation coins of the modern era, the 1962 sixpence is part of a bygone monetary system, and its charm lies in its scarcity and nostalgia. Collectors are willing to pay significant sums for specimens that retain crisp detail and luster. Now, let us turn to the aspect many of you are most eager to know, the current market value in dollars. Today, a sixpence coin of 1962 in fine condition has been recorded reaching market values around $67,000, with some examples even fetching as high as $73,550 when offered to collectors who truly value its rarity and historical significance. These figures are a testament to the coin's rising demand and the premium collectors are ready to place on it. It is not merely about the metal it was struck from, it is about the story it carries, the heritage it represents, and the passion it inspires among enthusiasts. For collectors who are considering adding the 1962 sixpence to their collection, there are a few useful tips to keep in mind. Always examine the coin's details carefully, paying attention to the sharpness of the design and the clarity of the inscriptions, as these factors heavily influence its desirability. Storing the coin properly in a protective holder is essential to preserve its condition, as even the slightest wear can affect its value. It is also advisable to source coins from reputable dealers or trusted auction houses to ensure authenticity, since demand for this coin has made it a prime target for replicas. Building a collection with coins like the 1962 sixpence not only enriches your numismatic journey but also connects you with a tangible piece of Britain's cultural past. In conclusion, the sixpence coin of the United Kingdom from 1962 is far more than a simple piece of cupronickel. It is a powerful link to the traditions, history, and spirit of a nation. Its fine condition examples are highly sought after in the numismatic world, with values reaching impressive heights of $67,000 to $73,550, reflecting both its rarity and its cherished place in British culture. For collectors, this coin is an outstanding addition that promises not just financial worth but also historical satisfaction. The story of the 1962 sixpence reminds us how even the smallest coins can carry the greatest significance, and it continues to shine as a beacon of high demand in today's collecting community. At last, the sixpence coin of the United Kingdom from the year 1965 is a piece that continues to fascinate coin enthusiasts and collectors across the globe, and today we are going to take a deep dive into its story, its legacy, and why it has become such a treasured possession for those who are fortunate enough to own one in fine condition. To begin with, let us set the stage by looking at the coin's introduction and its place within the British monetary system. The sixpence was a familiar denomination that served the public for centuries, being equivalent to half of a shilling and 1/40th of a pound sterling. In the 1960s, as Britain stood on the edge of major social and cultural change, the sixpence continued to be widely circulated and recognised. The 1965 issue in particular holds a special charm as it was struck during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, just a few years into her monarchy, representing a time when tradition and modernity were beginning to intertwine. Looking back at its background, the 1965 sixpence belongs to an era when British coins were still part of the pre-decimal currency system. Decimalisation had not yet arrived, and coins like the sixpence had strong everyday value in the lives of ordinary people. The obverse of the coin carries the youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick, which is celebrated for its elegance and simplicity. The reverse side is adorned with the crowned Tudor rose, a powerful emblem of unity and heritage that encapsulates England's long royal history. This marriage of modern monarchy and centuries-old symbolism makes the 1965 sixpence both historically and culturally meaningful. From a cultural perspective, the sixpence has always held a place larger than its monetary value. In Britain, it became associated with good luck charms, bridal traditions, and even Christmas puddings where sixpence would be hidden for a family member to discover. By the 1960s, these traditions were still alive, meaning the 1965 coin was not only currency but also a token of family rituals, superstition, and celebration. It is precisely this cultural resonance that enhances its collectability today. In terms of weight and specifications, the 1965 sixpence weighed approximately 2.83 grams and was composed of cupronickel, as silver had been removed from the sixpence years earlier. Despite this change, the coin remained durable, attractive, and practical for circulation. Its diameter was 19.41 millimeters, and it bore the same proportions and feel that made the sixpence so popular to handle. Collectors today continue to admire its neat size and refined detail, which still looks impressive under magnification even decades later. When discussing the key facts of this coin, it is important to remember that the 1965 sixpence was issued in substantial numbers for everyday use, but what truly matters is its condition. Coins that have survived in fine condition, with sharp detailing, minimal wear, and good luster, are far rarer than the millions that were once minted. The distinction between an ordinary circulated piece and one preserved in fine condition cannot be overstated, as this directly affects the demand among serious collectors. This naturally leads us to the topic of rarity and collector demand. While the 1965 sixpence may not be rare in the sense of low mintage, its rarity arises from the quality of surviving examples. Coins that have been well cared for, showing minimal blemishes and retaining their original striking quality, are now highly sought after. Collectors value them not only for their numismatic significance but also for the nostalgia they carry, as they represent the final years before Britain entered the new decimal system in 1971. With interest in mid-20th century coinage continuing to grow, demand for such pieces is noticeably strong in today's market. Speaking of the market, this is where things become even more exciting. Fine condition examples of the 1965 sixpence have achieved impressive results among collectors. At present, the market value for these coins can range significantly, but those in truly exceptional fine condition have been known to fetch around $52,000, with top-quality specimens achieving prices as high as $59,500. These figures show just how desirable this coin has become and demonstrate that it is far more than just an old piece of small change. It has evolved into a prized collectible and a solid investment for those who understand its value. For collectors who are considering adding a 1965 sixpence to their collection, there are some useful tips to bear in mind. Always pay close attention to the coin's condition, as even slight wear can reduce its desirability and market worth. Authenticity is equally important, so purchasing from reputable dealers or auction houses is strongly advised. Collectors may also wish to store the coin in protective cases to preserve its quality for future generations, as proper care ensures the coin maintains both its aesthetic appeal and financial value. In conclusion, the 1965 sixpence of the United Kingdom is much more than a coin of its time. It represents a unique blend of history, culture, and artistry, capturing the spirit of Britain in the mid-20th century. Its weight and design reflect both tradition and elegance, while its rarity in fine condition makes it a highly attractive acquisition. With market values reaching between $52,000 and $59,500, it is clear that this coin is now considered a treasure within the numismatic community. For those who seek not only to collect but also to connect with the past through meaningful and valuable pieces, the 1965 sixpence offers a wonderful opportunity, embodying beauty, history, and significant financial worth all in one. Thank you so much for watching this video. I truly hope you enjoyed learning about the fascinating story and value of the 1965 sixpence coin of the United Kingdom. If you found this video helpful and would like to see more rare coin content, don't forget to give it a like, share it with fellow collectors, and subscribe to the channel for future updates. Your support means a great deal and helps keep this community growing. Until next time, happy collecting, and may your coin hunts always bring you something truly special.